I've been tapped in the Swedish underground ever since I was like 13 years old. To this day, I still haven't found any good forum post or YouTube video explaining anything about its roots. So, here I am, attempting to research and document Sweden's alternative underground rap scene, starting from the very beginning. First of all, let's begin by defining what exactly does the term alternative rap really mean, just to really clear the air and not cause any confusion. Who will I actually be talking about? What spaces will I delve into? And what is, in my opinion, alternative rap? Some people would classify it as any rapper that is either independent or backed up by a small label. But then I'd have to include every gangster rapper or drill artist trying to make it out. No offense to them boys, but for the sake of this video not being too long, I'll have to skip over them. Other people might classify alt-rap as hip-hop that infuses itself with other genres or subgenres of music to create something that's unconventional within the mainstream boundaries of hip-hop. The kind of hip-hop that doesn't fit this stereotype of hip-hop/rap music. A couple examples being Black Cray infusing the witch house genre to some of his works, Lil Peep making emo rap a big thing, or hell, even Starboy having a distinct Dutch EDM influence in his music. So for simplicity's sake, when referring to alternative rap, I'll be using this here definition to define what it is. Alt-rap is rap and hip-hop that is constantly challenging the rap game and developing new ideas and ways of making music, incorporating new thoughts or ways of looking at the genre. Hear me out. I'm not a historian by any means, and by the time the Swedish underground started making noise, I was busy on my Nintendo, barely aware that in the future I myself would also have joined that scene. So follow along with me and let's both try to draw a timeline of the Swedish underground rap scene from the beginning. To most people I've spoken to, anytime Swedish underground rap comes up, the first thing that comes to mind are two groups: Sad Boys and Drain Gang. For the people not tapped in, Sad Boys is a group that consists of rapper Young Lean and producers Young Sherman and Young Good. And Drain Gang, previously known as Gravity Boys or Shield Gang, include rappers Blade, Tyboy Digital, Echo 2K, and producer White Armor. And to be honest, I don't even blame the people that named the aforementioned artists when asked about Sweden's underground scene. These guys brought a brand new sound never heard of before in the rap game, and played massively influential roles in the underground SoundCloud scene of the world, reaching far beyond Sweden. Young Lean being one of the first underground European rappers to gain traction in the US when his track Ginseng Strip 2002 dropped in 2013. Their usage of autotune as an instrument itself instead of a tool, every member's unique aesthetic and sound, early American cloud rap influences, taking influences from artists like Black Cray, Space Ghost Perp, Lil B, and Salem. I fully understand why the members of Sad Boys and Drain Gang still have massive cult-like followings to this day. And to be honest, I can't even name another Swedish rapper that has even come close to what these guys have achieved. But what came before Young Lean? Who was rapping before Blade and Echo 2K? Did the Swedish alternative underground scene really begin with these artists? Were they truly the first trendsetters? Are there, and if so, who, any other artists aside from them that came the following years? Well, let's try to start from the beginning. Both White Armor, well, during 2011 he was using the moniker DJ Cannabis, and Young Sherman have been making music since 2011. Sherman releasing his first officially released song titled All I'm Gonna Get, in which you can clearly hear a strong witch house influence. In my opinion, this instrumental was super ahead of its time, and honestly, I just feel like everything Sherm Good and White Armor have produced in the early days has really come full circle in the underground, meaning that I feel like most of the stuff these guys have made could be released now and still be met with a positive reception. White Armor, aka DJ Cannabis' first tape, Rippin' Private Bowls, was just recently discovered 2 years ago, a tape from 2011, allegedly released privately to a small label and only having around 100 CDs published, which goes to show how much unreleased projects do these guys really have. Have they even been making music before that? God knows. Blade officially released his first song, Always High, in 2011 under the moniker Ken Burns, and during that year he was in a collective called Smug Boys. Side note, by the way, not hip-hop related, but Blade was making music since 2007 with his crust-punk band called Krossad, in which his childhood friend Echo 2K was also a member of. But I digress. In the Smug Boys collective, there were multiple other members aside from Blade, Echo, Tyboy, and White Armor. Members like Low Key, DJ Hentai being his old alias, Young Dialysis, Ville, Kai, and Yusuf, in which the last three members' artist names are unknown. I wasn't able to find anything. And really, who knows how long those guys have been rapping or producing. But I'd say the first Drain Gang-esque song would have to be Oxygen by Blade, released in 2012, produced by White Armor. Here you have the synths, the autotune, the bass, the drum patterns, and basically everything that makes an old Blade song Blade. I recommend checking it out. It's still a pretty good song despite it being released in 2012, early on in his career. Another member, Tyboy Digital, I love the guy, I really do. He's been releasing music since 2011 in the Smug Boys era. His first song being Fuck You, I believe, released in November 28th, 2011 on Blade's personal channel actually. That track being super drained for sure. But he's also been really into Chicago drill culture, making many tracks with producer Katie Cutthroat that are very Chief Keef / drill inspired, but still having that Autotune Angel theme to it, which is prevalent in a lot of drain music nowadays. A lot of his music revolved around a theme of kind of luxury and romance in a sense. I would also really recommend listening to 100, produced by Katie Cutthroat. It's a personal favorite of mine. And now hear me out. I know Echo 2K was also part of the scene early on. He even went to the same high school as Blade and Tyboy. But I really don't think he was taking music that seriously back in 2011. Sure, he hopped on features here and there, making music with them, releasing his first official song, and I say official very loosely, in 2012 called I'm Alright. But most people would claim that he started taking music really seriously in 2013, 2014, kickstarting his solo career. Fun fact, by the way, he also studied film and videography in high school. And of course, Young Lean was still an integral part of that time, 2011, 2012. But he started taking music a bit more seriously around late 2012, early 2013, Range Rover and Uptown Walk being his first couple serious official releases in a sense, releasing in November to December 2012. A lot of people do claim that Oreo Milkshake is his first song, but I had Sad Boys historian grxt fact check me on this. But many would agree that Oreo Milkshake is a much more polished version of Young Lean's final style, in a similar way of how Oxygen was for Blade and the whole Drain Gang sound. Another artist worth mentioning, and this is what I've heard from either local rappers here in Stockholm or just people that are super mega fans of the genre, is a Swedish-based Mongolian rapper named Batulga. I haven't seen him mentioned that much online, aside from a couple obscure comments on online forums. But listening to what Batulga has put out, it honestly makes a lot of sense why people would think that. Around the same year Blade put out his aforementioned track Oxygen, Batulga allegedly released a specific track before Blade's Oxygen called I Want You. But what I'm trying to say is that a lot of people speculate that Blade heard Batulga's vocal mix on the song I Want You and decided to use it himself. But I don't know. It's a fun theory to think about. Now I do want to bring up some honorable mentions. No one that really started the Swedish underground rap scene, but people that were definitely active around that time. And I wanted to start this list off with legendary producer Katie Cutthroat. According to Year One's official page, the producer was supposedly found by Tyboy Digital and produced a couple of beats for Tyboy, which in turn led to him connecting with other members of Drain Gang and Sad Boys, and they claim that happened in 2014. But this doesn't really make sense since Katie can be found interacting with Young Good before even producing for Tyboy. Going through his Twitter page, it seems that the first song Katie ever produced for Tyboy was on December 4th, 2013. So I'm not sure about the Year One official page thing. I do also want to mention that all throughout Katie's Twitter, you can clearly see that he was highly invested in Chicago's drill culture, retweeting a lot of Chief Keef, Fredo Santana, and Lil Reese tweets. It's more than safe to say that Katie has been one of the OGs in the Swedish underground. I would also like to give an honorable mention to Yemi, a rapper that has also been making waves in the underground since 2013. From what I was able to gather, Yemi was close friends with Good in 2014, and still is actually, considering that Good produced a couple of Yemi's songs on the album Heart Music in 2021, and also the fact that they still engage with each other's posts on social media. He is, although, a very low-key person and not famous by any means, but he does have a cult-like fan base here in Stockholm at least. Sad Boys historian grxt was also nice enough to provide me with videos of Yemi doing shows in bars in which Young Good actually DJ'd for him. Karaman is another producer I would love to talk about. He was making similar beats as White Armor back in 2013 and was really good friends with everyone in Drain Gang and Sad Boys. He sadly hasn't released much officially, and a lot of his EPs have been lost throughout time, but he has been a vital part of the community in the come-up. Side note as well, according to Karaman himself in a Play interview, Karaman was a passenger in the car with Baron in Miami during the fatal car accident that led to Baron's passing, Karaman miraculously surviving. And I would also love to bring up Angel Diary / Little Cloud, purely out of respect for the history. I kinda got the notion that she probably doesn't want to have anything to do with music anymore, considering the fact that her SoundCloud is wiped, and according to some Reddit comments claiming they've spoken to her that she's done with music. Allegedly. Remember, this on Reddit. I don't really trust what they gotta say. But still, it is out there on the internet. Either way, Angel Diary, otherwise known as Little Cloud, used to be in a relationship with Young Sherman around 2014, frequently collaborating on tracks together, but eventually breaking up in 2015 due to undisclosed reasons. A lot of fans have expressed great sadness in the fact that this collaborative duo have stopped creating new tunes, but alas, nothing is forever. So I feel like it's safe to say it's very subjective as to who was the first alternative Swedish underground rapper. It depends on what the individual decides what the term alternative rap really means and who fits that description. From what I've gathered, Young Sherman and all the Smug boys, Blade, Echo 2K, Tyboy Digital, White Armor, etc., were the earliest producers/rappers that made up the Swedish alternative underground scene around 2011-2012. Now, I am pretty sure that there were other rappers at that time period, but no one as influential as the aforementioned artists. And if there really were people in that time period that I have completely missed out on or forgotten to mention, please do let me know. But I also want to make it very clear that you can't really credit Blade for the success of Young Lean, and neither could you credit Tybo Digital for the success of Echo 2K, or Young Sherm for the success of White Armor, etc, etc. Everyone had their own style. Blade was doing his own thing, Echo 2K had his own swag, Tybo Digital had his own sauce, and Young Lean was doing his own thing. Everyone was kind of complementing each other. There would have never been a Young Good without a Young Lean, and neither a Young Lean without a Young Good. There would have never been a Tybo Digital without a Blade, and a Blade without a Tybo Digital. Of course, they all would have probably gained success either way, with or without each other, but the fact that they complement each other so much really means something. Nobody really started anyone else's sauce. Nobody really copied anyone else's style. Sure, I would agree that they were all on the same type of timing, aka had the same sonically sounding music since they were all using similar producers, but in the end of the day, everyone was fresh in their own manner. What I can agree on is that without Young Lean, Sweden's underground scene would have never been this well known internationally. Without Blade, we would have never had this angelic autotune style of cloud rap. Without Echo 2K, we would have never had Playboy Cardi. And without Tyboy Digital, we would have never known what it truly means to be fresh.